Hello, crypto boys and ghouls, and welcome back to the channel, Tales from the Cryptmancer, where we feature content on play and earn games on the blockchain, such as Splinterforge. And in today's video, I wanted to talk about meta team concepts, and specifically, the questions come up, can you make a leaderboard with just a naked hero? And I want to share a clip from last weekend's Splinterlands TV, where we talked about different meta team combinations that they were seeing in Splinterforge at different levels, whether it be silver, bronze, gold, diamond, etc. for the bosses, where you could rent cards if you didn't own the cards already in Splinterlands and use those teams to leaderboard in the game. Now, what I will say is the game is rapidly advancing and changing here. The game is probably about a little over a month old now, and people are leveling up in the game. They're getting leaderboard spots, they're claiming those, they're earning forge in the game, they're earning forge through battles. So, in a lot of cases, they're taking that forge and buying crates or bags and equipping better gear on their heroes. As such, more and more of the leaderboards becomes more competitive. They're only paying out 100 spots on the leaderboard in Splinterforge. If we take a look here, this is the silver boss. Right now, I'm ranked 12 on this boss. It's been up for about 12 hours. You can see here, the top 100 here, the damage for the top 100 on a silver boss is 8,506 damage. And that is currently, if the boss were to be defeated right now, would pay out 3,250 forge. Well, where I'm going with this is, as the game matures, as more players come into the game and competing for like 100 leaderboard spots per boss, right? There's only 4 bosses up at a time right now. That means there's only 400 players that could leaderboard, or 400 spots are available for leaderboarding. And we know that there's, within the Splinterforge Discord, there's well over 1,000 users in the Splinterforge Discord. So their daily active users is probably well over 1,000. So to be competitive and get on the leaderboard, as a free-to-play player, those times, maybe have a very short window here is what I would say. Now, this video is talking about team concepts where a week ago, like I said, you could leaderboard with these teams. Moving forward, depending on when you watch this video, will you still be able to accomplish that with a plain naked hero? I don't know, but what I can tell you is, as the game matures, as it gets more and more players, and for this game to be sustainable, you don't want to come in have a game come in as a free-to-play player and just earn a ton of forge and then cash that out and extract that out of the ecosystem, because, that's not sustainable long-term for a game, and pretty much that would be a bad use of your time and your crypto at that point in time. So for me, when I look at Splinterforge, and I specifically see the options to not only play the game using existing Splinterlands assets, but also be able to earn. And yes, just like Splinterlands, how you have to invest in a spell book and either rent cards or buy cards to really compete at, let's say, a gold or higher level in the game to really unlock earnings. I don't think it's unrealistic for Splinterforge, the competition in the game, to really require you to buy some crates, some packs, maybe some individual items here in the game moving forward. So just put that out there as a caveat. Again, I think Splinterforge is doing the right things with their rewards, with their game right now, from what I can tell. And what I would say here is, there's a card market also on the way. The rumor is, if you watch my Twitter, I just posted today, the rumor is that there will be a card market available on splex.gg that will have exclusively Splinterforge assets that you can buy and sell there and list. And that's going to open up, obviously, secure trading and market prices and stabilization there. So that's good news for the game, and also good news for new players coming to the game that maybe do not want to purchase crates and purchase packs necessarily. Maybe they just want to buy specific items for the hero. So that will be available for all. They're saying maybe next week. We'll have to see if that timing is accurate. But if so, again, that's very good for the growth of the game moving forward as well. And also great for new players trying to get into the game and be competitive. With that, let me hop into the clip from Splinterlands TV talking about these meta teams. And until next time, keep stacking those stats. Let's talk a little bit about teams that you can use if you don't have like a super equipped hero to do lots of damage. I'm going to talk about some teams that work really well at various levels of bosses. Depending, it could be bronze, could be silver, gold, or diamond. And it's important, to plan your monsters accordingly, because some monsters don't have the skills at the certain levels. Like if you tried to use like a Mardali Guardian here on a bronze boss, like for example, that Mardali Guardian's not going to have repair, it's only going to have heal. So just understanding what your monsters have for the level of the boss is important to make a note of. Having said that, this is an example of a team that works well probably at the gold and higher level. And this is a ranged archery team. It uses, in this case, Kitty and Yasik. But if you didn't have Kitty, you could swap Kitty for Kelya pretty easily. So Kelya and Yasik, just for the speed. And it uses some runes or gems. So I'm bringing, in addition to the neutrals, I'm bringing 2 death cards, a life card, and a fire card. So the fire comes with Yasik, the neutrals come with anything. So basically, you would need ideally a death rune and a life rune to run this team. And this team combines the abilities of Protect and Having on Archimus the Bear, as well as it has 2 repairs, Lone Boatman and Scavel Hireling. The double repair is important because remember, every boss or monster that you battle has both a ranged attack and a melee attack that can hit up to 2 different people on your team. So you want to have ideally 2 repairs to, if, for example, the boss hits 2 separate monsters, you can bring up your armor on those monsters so that they can then kind of deflect another melee or ranged attack. So in addition to those abilities, you'll see I have 3 swiftnesses here: Lair of the Dark, Countess Sinash, and Supply Runner, really trying to take advantage of Yasik's speed and Kitty's speed, or Kelya if you use Kelya for her speed, or Lux for her speed. So you're trying to go as fast as you can without a hero boost. And then I just have the Soul Strangler in there because, for 3 mana it does 4 damage, which is pretty good. So this is a good team to use when you have like a boss that has Void or Magic Reflect as an example. Then you would want to use this team because the ranged damage does a lot of damage there. This next team here, Mondroid was talking about it earlier in the stream. It is really a great team to use for a bronze boss. A bronze boss that ideally does not have thorns, retaliate, or shield. And basically what you can do is, in this case, we use Kitty and Kelya, but you could also use Kelya and Yasik just as well. Or you can, use, speed is honestly probably what you want there. So like Kelya Yasik, Kelya Lux, Kelya Kitty, Kelya Ilthane would be options to use here. And basically the strategy of this team is you're putting Kraken up front with taunts here. And as long as the boss doesn't have Scattershot or Fury, it's going to run up into the Kraken here. And the Kraken is going to have a heal and a repair. Now, you could lose the repair here and put another double strike monster in here, like a Hobgoblin or a Dampier Infiltrator. You really only need ideally 2 heals, like a heal from the Mardali Guardian and a heal from Kitty in this case. A double heal on 14 health really keeps a Kraken's taunt in play for a long period of time. And what you have here is you have a double Inspire with Silver Shield Knight and Demented Shark. And now you have, if you have double strikes with Hobgoblin, Damper, Infiltrator, Silver Shield Assassin, Vigilator, etc., what that does is you're adding +2 melee to all your melee attacks. And so even though like the Silver Shield Assassin in this case at level 2 only has 1 damage, it's actually 3 damage with Inspires, and you get to do it twice. And you get the 1.5 damage bonus here for the sneak ability. So Silver Shielded Assassin's probably doing, I don't know, like 5 to 6 damage, I think it is, per attack. You know, same thing with Vigilator and whatever other double strike unit you have in here. And you can even use a melee hero to take advantage of that double Inspire as well if you don't have gear. So this is a really inexpensive team to rent for the most part that you can use against bronze bosses. Another team to consider, this is a magic team. It's kind of a balanced team, meaning that it doesn't use all speed, but it also uses some form of heal, repair, and protect. And you can see here, we're using Ulrich and Kitty. You could use Ulrich and Kelya. You could use Ulrich and Yasik. You could use Kelya and Yasik, etc., etc. And what the team does, use Valinor if you had Valinor, obviously, as well. You can see here, we've got good magic damage. We've got swiftness on the Spirit Miner with blind, swiftness on Ruler of the Seas with damage multiplier and a silence. Got a heal and a repair. You've got a protect, more magic damage, a repair, a resurrect here. And at the highest levels at diamond, you get a swiftness from Adelaide Brightwing as well. And then you get from Renova, you get a strengthen, a heal, and magic damage. This team also puts out good damage, and you can use this if you have the runes to run the 2 life monsters. You can run this team and get some good damage on your bosses as well. Steve, I have pulled back rentals to play Splinterforge. And we'll talk a little bit about that here after I share some more of these battles. I'll show you which cards I pulled back from renting out and I'm actually using because of Splinterforge. Not because of Splinterlands, but because of Splinterforge. So this next team here is a hybrid team. It uses both melee and magic, and it uses sustain, but it's really here to ramp up the speed. Now I'm using Kitty and Yasik, but you could swap out Kitty for Kelya or Elthane if you wanted to. And basically what you're trying to do is, for the ideally for a diamond boss, is take advantage of swiftness. So you're using swiftness on Adelaide Brightwing, on Countess Sinash, on Lyra the Dark, on Supply Runner, on Spirit Miner, plus your summoners. So you're getting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, maybe 6, 7, 8, or up to 9 speed bonuses on all your monsters, which is huge. And anything that's not giving you speed is going to be giving you having, protect, heal, or repair right here between Archimus and Merdali Guardian. So I like this team as well. It's a mixed team, so it does use magic and range damage, so you just have to watch out for magic reflect, return fire, you know, shield and void. But if you have a clear path to success, like maybe have thorns and retaliate, you know, or something like that on the boss, this team works really well. This next team that you can use, this is again a little bit of a mix, but it's really more for speed. Again, I'm using in this case Kitty, but I swapped out Yasik for Chancius. So I'm getting a heal, a repair, and a resurrect from Chancius. And we're running Archimus with having with protect, and we're getting 2 repairs from Hireling and Adelaide Brightwing. This is being used at, I believe this is gold level. So we're getting swiftness from Spirit Miner, Supply Runner, Ruler of the Seas, and you're getting a silence from the Phantom Soldier here with magic damage. You could probably swap out the Phantom Soldier, honestly, for something else with swiftness if you wanted to. But I like the silence here against the gold boss because it doesn't insta-kill the Hireling. takes the magic damage down, so it doesn't insta-kill the hireling or the ruler of the seas or supply runner or Adelaide, which is important. You don't want a single magic attack, taking those guys out of the battle. This next team is a variation of this former team. It uses Yasik and Kitty for speed. You can see what I've done is I put a Creeping Ooze and a Time Mage for speed manipulation. So I'm getting, for 5 mana here, I'm getting 2 slows on the boss, in addition to Swiftness from Ruler of the Seas, Supply Runner, Spirit Miner, and depending on the boss level, possibly Adelaide Brightwing as well. Again, speed is the name of the game. Speed kills, and that's what you want in Splinterforge if you can get it. This is another variation of that team. This is probably my favorite version of the Magic Speed team. It uses Yasik and Kitty, Spirit Miner, Ruler of the Seas, Time Mage, a Divine Healer, and Countess Sanash, all for damage and speed manipulation. It uses Phantom Soldier for that, again, the silence here, but couple that diamond level with Ruler of the Seas, the double silence here really helps take that diamond level boss magic damage into a level that doesn't insta-kill Divine Healer or Time Mage or, well, Countess Sanash has camouflage, so it doesn't matter. But it's important that a magic attack doesn't singly kill those squad members. And this is another version of the melee team that we talked about earlier for bronze. It uses Yasik and Kitty. You can swap out Kitty for Kelia just very easily. It uses Kraken here. It uses the Mermaid Healer for the heal instead of the Merdali Guardian, because it's a faster heal on the Merdali or this Mermaid Healer. You got double strike with Hobgoblin, Silver Shield Assassin, as well as Vigilator. You've only got 1 Inspire with Silver Shield Knight because you add the Repair with the Armor Smith here. So the Kraken gets the shield automatically, so it gets a heal and a repair on the Kraken, which keeps it upright, and everything else is doing damage. And this works really well in bronze. And the last team here is again a bronze boss variation. Again, just a mix and match of how you can maximize your damage. It's using Yasik and Kitty. Again, Kraken for the taunt, a single heal with Merdali Guardian plus Kitty if you have its heal. And then you've got a single Inspire. You swapped out the Vigilator for the Dampier Infiltrator, which is cheaper to rent or own. Also, it's double strike with the Hobgoblin, Silver Shield Assassin, and you still have that repair with Armor Smith. So those are some teams that you can bring. You're going to see a trend here on the abilities that seem to work well in Splinterforge. They're generally going to be speed number 1. Taunt sometimes can work well with a heal and a repair. And then, yeah, speed and double strike for melee are good. And you'll see a lot of cards, for example, that I pulled off rent here. Silver Shield Knight, Armor Smith, Hobgoblin, Silver Shield Assassin, because I'm playing in Modern. So I've been renting out these, beta and older reward cards. But I took them off rent because I'm using them in Splinterforge now. Same thing for the Mermaid Healer. Kraken is another example. Phantom Soldier, Spirit Miner, Divine Healer, Ruler of the Seas. These are all cards I pulled off rent just to be able to play Splinterforge with. And yeah, so it's, again, like I said, I'm earning enough daily in Splinterforge to definitely make it worth the while for me to pull those off rent, Steve.